A boy burst from the tree line and stumbled onto a blacktop that swallowed headlights whole. Bare feet, dirty cheeks, a voice ragged with panic. "Please, follow me home." 8 riders rolled their throttles closed. Exhaust crackled to silence. Helmets came off. Leather creaked. Men with road maps etched into their faces looked at one another, then at the child clutching their vests like a life ring. They didn't know it yet, but the road they were about to take would reroute all of their lives. The last light bled out behind the ridgeline. When Colton Hale, gray-bearded lead of the road wardens, saw the movement by the pines along State Road 19, at first he thought, deer. Then the night broke with a sob. "Hold up!" Colton barked, his voice cutting through the rumble. The pack braked hard, stones rattling under chrome. Dust rose around them like ghost smoke. The kid staggered from the brush, 9 maybe, face striped with tears and road grit, jeans ripped at the knees, soles bloody. He reached for Colton with both hands. "Please. My mom won't wake up. My little sister's hiding. I can't carry her. Please come." Rafe, second in command, exchanged a look with the others. They'd just finished a 12-hour ride raising money for wounded vets. The plan was burgers, a beer, and bed. This was not on the itinerary. "Where do you live, champ?" Colton crouched, his jacket whispering as it bent. The boy pointed down a narrow cut of dirt knifing into the trees. 10 minutes, maybe. I tried to carry her. I can't. "Name?" Colton asked. "Tyler." "Okay, Tyler, you ride with me. Those feet are done for the night." He swung the boy onto his tank and settled him in. Rafe nodded. Cade, the youngest, swallowed hard. Ox, the big one with the busted nose and quiet eyes, cracked his knuckles. The rest, Brick, Santos, Bishop, and Crowley, waited for a word. "We follow," Colton said. "If you don't like it, turn around." No one left. They fell into single file, headlamps sawing through a tunnel of limbs. Roots ribbed the path. Branches scraped chrome. After 5 minutes, Rafe slid up beside Colton. "This place feels wrong," he said, pitching his voice over the engines. Colton felt it too. The deeper they went, the more the world went mute. No porch lights, no barking dogs, just dark. "There," Tyler whispered, pointing. A farmhouse slouched ahead, paint peeling in sheets, porch caved like a tired back. One window patched with cardboard. Weeds as tall as a man, they cut their motors. The sudden quiet had a weight. Colton lifted Tyler down. The boy bolted up the steps, then glanced back, terrified. "Hurry!" Inside, the smell hit first. Stale laundry, old spills, something sour. A couch sagged under the shape of a woman, skin gray, hair stringy. Chest rising, barely, "Mom." Tyler shook her shoulder. "Mom, I brought help." Rafe was there in a heartbeat, fingers finding a pulse, head tilted to check air. He'd been a field medic before the bikes. Muscle memory took over. "She's alive," he said. "Weak, dehydrated, maybe blood sugar crash. Maybe meds." Ox's boots thudded down a hole. Cade stood in the kitchen doorway, face gone white. "Colt," he whispered. "You need to see." Cabinets yawned open, bare, not a cracker, not a can. "They've got nothing," Cade said, voice small, a crash from the back. The men turned. "It's okay," Ox called. He came out holding a little girl wrapped in a filthy blanket. 5, maybe 6. Eyes too big, silent. "She was under the bed," Ox said softly. "Won't speak." Colton's jaw set. He'd seen bad things, done worse, but this was a different kind of wreck. "Where's your dad, Tyler?" Colton kept his voice even. The boy's face folded. "He left, a beat. 4 days ago. He said he was getting cigarettes." "You've been alone 4 days?" Rafe asked. Tyler nodded. "Mom, she was saving her medicine for my sister, Emmy. She ran out. I gave Emmy the last soup yesterday." His voice wavered. "Then I went to the road." Colton looked around. 2 kids and a mother fading on a couch. A house collapsing in slow motion. No phones, no food. "No help coming. Here's the play," he said. "Rafe, you stabilize her." Ox, "Cade, take my bike, get a doctor who'll come. Don't leave without one. The rest of us stay." Nobody argued. They split silently, moving like a crew used to ugly problems. Crowley found orange pill bottles scattered across a bathroom sink. He handed them to Rafe, who scanned labels with a growing frown. Antidepressants, anxiolytics, painkillers, price stickers still on. "She stopped refilling months ago," Rafe said. "Probably choosing between pills and food." Brick called from the bedroom. "Past due bills thick as leaves." A tax notice stamped red. And a photo. The mother, softer-faced, smiling. A man stiff at her side. 2 small kids mugging for the camera. Someone had written on the back, in shaky pen, before it all fell apart. They put the picture back. Ox patted the little girl's back until she, uncurling from his shirt. Cade found a clean glass. Bishop tested the ancient faucet. Nothing. Santos pried the old well pump outside until it coughed up a rusty trickle. Little by little, the house started breathing. When the doctor arrived, Dr. Yoon, a woman with a canvas bag and the calm of someone who'd seen everything, she didn't flinch at the bikers filling the room. She checked vitals, eyes, hydration. She hung a bag, pushed a dose, gave Rafe a list. She needs a hospital, Dr. Yoon said. Tonight if possible. Will she make it? Tyler's voice could barely carry the question. If we move fast. Dr. Yoon's edges softened. Tyler, do you have grandparents? An aunt? He shook his head. It's just us. Dr. Yoon met Colton's eyes. I'm mandated to report this. I have to call child services. No. Tyler gripped Colton's vest like a ledge. They split you up. That's what they do. Emmy needs me, Emmy whimpered, clutching Ox tighter. Colton looked at his men. He saw pieces of old mistakes on their faces. Prison records and burnt bridges. Spirits held together with duct tape and stubbornness. Not the kind of people the system trusted, but right now they were all these kids had. What if they aren't alone? Colton asked. At least for tonight. We stay until Mom's safe. Dr. Yoon exhaled. Tonight, she said. Tomorrow we do it by the book. They worked through the dark. Ox and Cade ferried Mother and Doctor to the small-town hospital, and came back with fluids, crackers, and instructions. Santos coaxed the well into steady water. Brick and Bishop patched a hole in the roof with whatever the barn coughed up. Crowley disappeared and returned with grocery bags, bread, milk, apples, cheap cereal. He stocked the cupboards without a word. Before dawn, the mother stirred. Rafe was at her side in a blink. Colton stepped closer. Easy, Rafe said softly. You're safe. Her eyes darted, found Tyler asleep in a leather jacket nest on the floor, then swept to strangers in denim and metal. Fear flashed. Who are you? Passers-by, Colton said, giving her the truth that fit. Your boy asked for help. Where's... Her voice snagged on the name she couldn't say. He's not here, Rafe said carefully. Her eyes welled, not with surprise. Just a tired acceptance. He's not coming back, she whispered. What's your name? Colton asked. Mara, he said gently. We got a doctor. You're headed to the hospital today. We'll keep the kids fed. We'll stay until this is sorted. Terror spiked in her voice. We can't pay. We can't. If they know they'll take my babies. Nobody's taking anyone tonight, Ox said from the doorway. Emmy slept against his chest, one tiny hand tangled in his chain. The contrast would have been funny if it hadn't been the only reason the room felt gentle. Why? Mara asked. Why are you helping? Because your son ran toward danger instead of away, Colton said. We couldn't ride past that. Morning came with the sound of hammers and the smell of coffee. The wardens moved like a small, stubborn army. Rafe scrubbed the kitchen until it quit smelling like rot. Santos got the water flowing clear. Bishop leveled the warped porch step and braced it. Brick cut back weeds and found the septic lid. Crowley taped a list to the fridge. Chores, meals, meds. Dr. Yoon returned at dusk, checked vitals, nodded at progress, and made the call. Social services would be there at 9 the next morning. That night, by firelight, plans were made. They would show results. Rafe would speak to medical issues. Santos would photograph repairs and tape receipts to a page. Brick would fix anything he could touch. Cade would compile a list of resources. Clinics, food banks, counseling, job training. Colton would ask Mara to fight for herself. None of this matters if we disappear in a week, Rafe said. Then we don't, Colton answered. Tyler found him later, sitting on the back steps watching a thin ribbon of stars. You leaving? The boy asked. Not tonight. What about tomorrow? Grown-ups always say they'll stay. He stared at the dirt. Then they don't. Colton let that land. I can't promise perfect, he said. I can promise we won't let anyone split you and your sister. And if someone tries, we'll have plans B, C, and D. How? Tyler whispered. We figure it out. That's what we do. He put an arm around the boy and felt small shoulders finally shake. You don't have to be the strong one right now, Colton said. We've got you for a while. At 9 a.m. sharp, a white sedan crunched the gravel. Patricia Morrow stepped out, sensible shoes, a stare that had seen every excuse. She paused at the sight of 8 motorcycles and a yard crawling with men who looked like trouble. Ms. Morrow, Colton said. Clean shirt under his vest, beard combed, eyes steady. Colton hailed. Dr. Yoon called you. You're the bikers, she said flatly. Yes, ma'am. We'd like you to see the kids before you make any decisions. I will, she said, without your commentary. Inside, the house looked like people were trying. Cabinets held food. The floor was clean. Mara sat on the couch with Emmy tucked against her and Tyler glued to her side. Rafe stood near, respectful, ready. The interview was hard. Patricia asked the questions that hurt. The father's exit, the missed meds, the empty cupboards, the depression. Mara answered because she had decided to start telling the truth. Tyler never let go of her hand. Patricia spoke privately to the children. Tyler's jaw trembled. "You're going to take us," he said. "People talk at school." "I'm here to make sure you're safe," Patricia said, voice gentler now. "We are," he insisted, pointing to the kitchen doorway where big men stood like furniture. Because of them, they came when nobody else did. One by one, the wardens sat across from Patricia at the table. She asked for names, jobs, records. Some of their answers weren't pretty. None of them lied. "What exactly are you to this family?" she asked Colton. "Neighbors," he said, "for as long as they need one." That's not a legal category. Maybe it should be. By noon, Patricia had notes on everything from the water pressure to the chore chart, to the way Emmy clung to Ox, and finally dared to speak a full sentence. "Up, please," with her face buried in his shoulder. "Mrs. Turner," Patricia said, "after the house tour, under ordinary circumstances, I would remove the children today, but circumstances can change." Mara's breath stopped. "I'm not removing them," Patricia continued. "Yet, this is conditional. I will be back weekly. The house stays like this or better. Food, appointments, school, counseling, random checks. These men," she eyed the wardens, "will either become a steady support system, or they will step away. If they step away, the state steps in. Understand?" Colton nodded. "Understood." The week that followed traded panic for structure. A doctor treated Emmy's cough. Rafe set a medication schedule in fat black marker. Santos fixed the well for good. Brick patched a roof leak. Bishop found a second-hand desk and sanded until it shined. Crowley posted a calendar with stars to mark chores and school days. Then the father showed up. Word traveled fast in a small county. By sunset, the wardens knew that Dane Turner, all swagger and whiskey breath, was at Millie's tap crowing about blackjack and fresh cash. "Stay smart," Colton told the crew. "Talk only." They walked into the bar as one. Dane tried on outrage. It didn't fit. When Sheriff Harlan pushed through the door with a folded restraining order, "Child neglect and abandonment under active investigation," Dane's face changed. "Sign," the sheriff said. "Supervised visitation only. Stay 500 feet away until a judge says otherwise." Dane looked at the paper like it might bite him. Colton spoke quietly. "Your boy ran onto a highway to save his family. We're not going to let you undo that," Dane signed. Shame flickered and was gone. He left town with a sputter and a taillight. The sheriff tucked the order away. "I've known you boys a long time," he told Colton. "You've been trouble. Today you're not." 2 weeks later, Patricia returned. The yard was trimmed. The porch stood straight, painted fresh. Solar lights lined a path Kate had leveled. Emmy's room wore soft yellow paint. Curtains stitched by a woman from Crowley's recovery group framed the window. A small bookshelf held picture books, and a stuffed bear ox had won at a fair, because Emmy had never had one and asked what it felt like. In Tyler's room, a calendar tracked chores and schoolwork. A map of the county hung beside it with a pushpin where the library sat. Mara's new part-time job, soon to be full-time because she showed up. Patricia interviewed again. She checked receipts. She called Dr. Yoon and the school nurse, and because she is thorough, she ran the background checks the wardens knew were coming. Some pasts were messy, all present behavior aligned. "This is unusual," she admitted, closing her notebook. "But the children are thriving. Mrs. Turner is engaged in treatment and working. The home is stable." She pulled documents from her case. "I'm approving a formal plan. Mother retains custody with ongoing monitoring. The road wardens are registered as an approved support network. You'll have background checks and random visits. Any failure and we move to protective custody. If you succeed, we close the case." She studied them. "Don't make me regret this," they signed. Every signature was a vow from men who had broken promises before and were done doing that. Months turned like pages. The farmhouse shook off the look of neglect. Flowers went into boxes Ox built. Emmy painted them purple and blue. A tire swing hung from the oak. Brick had tested it himself, yelping when it held. Santos taught Tyler to set a chain and oil a bike. Bishop ran drills in the yard. Homework first, then play. Crowley took Mara to every therapy appointment, waiting in the lobby with a coffee and a dog-eared paperback. Patricia's visits shifted to monthly, then every other month. Each time, the house felt like a place where people slept without listening for trouble. On her final scheduled visit, she sat at the kitchen table, flipping through a file fat with progress notes. "Mrs. Turner," she said at last, looking up with a rare smile, "I'm recommending closure. No more supervision. Mara covered her mouth, tears immediate and clean. We did it? You did it, Patricia said. All of you. That night, the wardens crowded the kitchen again. The same place that once held nothing. Colton raised a mug of coffee. We followed one kid into the woods and found a mission, he said. There are more Tylers and Emmys out there. We can't fix everything, but we can show up, Rafe nodded. We'll need structure, partners, a 501c3. Santos grinned. I know a lawyer who prefers not to talk about law school. Cade held up a rough design on his phone, a road winding into a heart-shaped tree line. Beneath it, Road Warden's Foundation, Neighbors on Purpose. Mara wiped her eyes. You're going to change a lot of lives. They did. 3 months later, 200 bikes idled downtown for the Road Warden's first official ride for families on the edge. The sheriff waved traffic through with a secret smile. Dr. Yoon cheered from the curb. The mayor said something about second chances into a squealing microphone. Patricia, clipboard free, stood off to the side and simply watched. Colton sat at the front, and this time he wasn't alone. Tyler perched in front of him, helmet painted with little flames. The boy grinned so hard his cheeks hurt. You ready? Colton asked over the engine's growl. Ready. Behind them, Ox rolled with Emmy's stuffed bear bungee to his sissy bar for luck, because that's what Emmy had insisted. Crowley rode shoulder to shoulder with Rafe, both of them steady and sober. Brick, Santos, Bishop, and Cade flanked like a moving wall. The banner at the front read, Riding Toward Home. They took the long way through 3 counties and ended at a children's clinic with a van full of groceries, winter coats, and a fund for electric bills that couldn't wait. But more than that, they delivered proof, loud, undeniable proof, that sometimes the people you're sure will ride away are the ones who park and stay. Years would peel by. Tyler would grow tall and take an EMT exam with Rafe's textbooks dog-eared and coffee-stained. Emmy would sell watercolor postcards of those flower boxes at the fall fair and laugh from her belly like a kid who remembers fear and chooses joy anyway. Mara would run the circulation desk and know every child by name. The wardens would mess up, apologize, and come back the next morning with tools and coffee. They would sit in school gyms for talent shows, haul broken couches to the dump, pay for breaks, and build ramps. They would be complicated men doing simple work. One family at a time. Ask them why, and Colton always said the same thing, because once, a boy ran out of the woods barefoot and brave and asked us to follow him home. We did. And home turned out to be bigger than any of us knew. If you're listening, you can probably hear it even now. The low thunder of engines rolling not away from trouble, but toward it. Not to rescue people like heroes in capes, but to stand on porches no one else will stand on. To hold flashlights in busted kitchens, to make a promise and keep it. Sometimes the ones written off as outlaws become exactly the neighbors a town needs. Sometimes staying is the bravest thing anyone does. And sometimes, because a child asked, a handful of men decide to be the kind of men they wish they'd been all along. That's the road they took. They're still on it.